The Lamia were a bloodline of kindred believed to be descended from Lilith, as well as Cain. Their founder and high priestess, named Lamia, claimed to be the daughter of the Dark Mother herself. In ancient times, the Cappadocian elders found Lamia performing sacred Bahari rites, and was so taken by her skin and resistance to pain that he embraced her. From then on, the Lamia were dedicated warriors protecting the Cappadocian clan, until the clan's alleged destruction by the Giovanni, the last Lamia, was believed destroyed in 1718. However, the Gorgons lived on, much like their Cappadocian charges. While the latter claimed the title Harbingers of Skulls, the Lamia took the title of Lilins, spreading the word of Lilith and the Bahari faith, while secretly uncovering the fate of the Cappadocians and undermining the Giovanni. Now, in the wake of the family reunion, these women stand proudly, once again, at the side of the kindred that embrace them. Although they are less inclined to tolerate the so-called Cainites who chastise their faith. So we are currently covering the Gorgons, the Lamia of the Hecata. Greetings, kindred. I am voivodemekhet. This is our world of darkness, and we are going through the lore sheets found in the player's guide. I don't know why I was getting all dramatic on that one. The Lamia are fun. They are amazing. They come from a story of trauma and stress, and they speak of power and moving on. And seriously, they are feminism the clan. I actually very, very much love these characters. I think they're amazing. They are not solely female. However, they do tend to have more female members due to the fact that they do have a feminist stance as far as the worship of Lilith as a Bahari. They can be very suspicious of men. That being said, their creation was a non-consenting act of violence. If you read up on the amazing story of the Lamia and how they were brought into existence into the world of darkness, it does start off with a very harrowing experience with someone who believes they are, or perhaps they even are, the daughter of Lilith herself. Given Lilith's history, it's really sad that the immortal powers of the kindred came to them in such a fashion. But let's go ahead and take a look what the Lamia have to offer in their lore sheet. The Serpent's Kiss. Legend claims the bite of the Lamia once spread plague to their victims. These nights, the bite of the Lamia is no longer fatal, although a few, like yourself, have some remnants of the disease left in their system. Once per story, you can choose to infect your mortal prey with disease, causing them 1 aggravated damage every night for 3 nights. This ability has no effect on vampires. So that is one of the things that the Lamia are known for, is the fact that they spread plague in their bite. It could be seen as the bubonic plague. It could be seen as something wholly supernatural that just resembles that kind of disease. But the fact that it deals an aggravated damage per night for 3 nights is horrific, considering the fact that this is used against mortals. Mortals don't tend to survive aggravated damages very well, especially when they're internal like that. This is one of the things where somebody would have to be at the hospital to survive, in my opinion. I do believe that this is a death sentence, and I don't think most people would survive the first night, let alone all 3. Protection. You embody the original purpose of the Lamia, the protection of your charges. by any means necessary. You gain a 2-die bonus when using the block maneuver to protect someone else. 2 dice bonus for using the block maneuver. This stops someone else from getting hit. This is so ingrained in the Lamia's psyche that it's kind of like second nature to them to just act like bodyguards, and I like the fact that it is represented in their lore sheet. Taking on a role of bodyguard for another character. This opens a wide variety in terms of possible fetch missions, or even just making sure that a member of the Hecata stays protected because you've taken them on as your charge. 4 humors. Many ancient Lamia practiced manipulation of the 4 humors, allowing control over their victim's body or mind. Once per story, you may bite a mortal and inflict a 2 dice penalty on all actions which don't immediately further their current resonance until the end of the night, or their resonance changes humors. If their blood contains a dyscrasia, increase this penalty to 3 dice. 4 humors is an interesting way of putting this due to the fact that in the older editions of the Dark Age version of Vampire, the Lamia had the ability to basically manipulate the 4 humors, which was the Dark Age understanding of medical needs. Basically, blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. Sounds delicious. But the idea is that it affects the resonance. This is something that could be utilized if you were infecting a feeding pool of another kindred. I just get a whole bunch of dirty ideas for this one. I love the concept of this person is messing with somebody else's herd. Fun. Controlling the beast. Chaos and pain are key aspects to the Bahari faith, and thus the faith of many Lamia. However, mindless chaos and pain do not lead to education, so controlling accidental infliction of both is important. Once per session, you can convert a messy critical in combat into a critical. Very useful. I'm just gonna this is a very plain, no need to elaborate thing. If you get a messy critical, you succeed in your action, but something bad happens in coordinates. In my thought, it is something equivalent to an aggravated damage, whether or not that is physical, social, mental, political, it doesn't matter. But the beast taking over does not happen very often when it comes to the Lamia due to their Bahari practices. So, due to possibly breath control, blood circulation, or some other possible power, possibly self-flagellation, actually. That sounds very Bahari. Self-harm, basically. You can reduce a messy critical to just a standard critical, getting what you need to happen. It's definitely a tender subject, and I can see how some people might need to make this a veil for their games, but it's also something that I see as very fitting in the World of Darkness setting. Medusa's Gaze. The Lamia most steeped in the Bloodline's mysteries hold a private power that portrays a more literal meaning behind their epitaph than many realize. Once per session, after you win an intimidation or conflict roll, those who lost become unable to act on the following conflict turn. Outside of combat, they become unable to move for a scene unless they succeed at a willpower roll difficulty of 5. Medusa's Gaze effectively gives you another power that does not literally turn anyone to stone, but it does give them paralysis. They're unable to move unless they pass a willpower test of 5. In a combat situation or conflict, whether or not you're in a heated argument where dice are being rolled, or in a physical combat, you can freeze them for a turn, which is useful. I think it's a very interesting power. It does kind of give them a little bit more connection to their Gorgon name. I'm a huge fan. I like the idea of I can turn you to stone. It doesn't actually turn you to stone, but it does, in fact, paralyze you. So, the Lamia have come a long way from being just simple bodyguards. They're now a bloodline that may fall into the same old routine, but do tend to have a mind of their own now. This is a very interesting way of looking at things. What is the ulterior motives of the clan that literally is the Bahari? You can take a Bahari character from pretty much any clan you want, but these are the ones who started it. Founded by Lamia herself, who is a daughter of Lilith. They worship Lilith. Anyway, I am voivodemekhet. This has been our World of Darkness review on the Gorgons, a Hecata-only lore sheet that can be found in the Player's Guide for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I will see you in the next one. Good evening.